Welcome back to page 121. Today we're going to go back to 2001 to Modular Cutter from GURPS Traveler. We're going to take a look at this workhorse of the Imperium spaceship, not a starship, in most cases. They can do many tasks for you depending on what module you've got attached to it. We're going to take a look at this and why it's important for game masters as well as players. This can drive a story very easily. And it's kind of almost affordable for most players too. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. The fact that this is in GURPS means that it's under the GURPS rules. So some of the tech level references in here will have to be adjusted. GURPS tech level by and large was lower than Traveler at the time, but it's still quite applicable. Most of the stuff in here is rules agnostic and a very good source book. So we're going to look at the Modular Cutter. Also, just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. For whatever reason, subscriptions have slowed down a little bit. Maybe it's just the doldrums of the new year, I don't know. But anything we can do to help boost that, I would appreciate. Everybody who has subscribed, thank you. And I also have Patreon going. And if there's anything you can do there to help the channel out and continue to grow, I would much appreciate it. But now back to today's topic, Modular Cutters in Traveler. The Modular Cutter, the workhorse of the Imperium. This book was written by Andy Akins and the late, great Lauren Wiseman. I really enjoyed this book when I got it. I bought this February 2001. I found the receipt in here. I'll show that as I go through the book. But I actually kept the receipt from when I bought this guy. GURPS did some nice stuff for background. This was just a good time for Traveler as far as just usable stuff. I played the GURPS system. I ran GURPS Traveler campaigns at 3D House of Games, which is the game store I used to hang out at. Myself and one of my viewers, Pete, he and I were buddies who played Traveler at 3D House of Games. Pete and I were the only real Traveler gearheads there. So Pete, okay, I remember you, buddy. So here we are, the Modular Cutter, the workhorse of the Imperium. The important aspect of this is the word modular. The neat thing about this is you can swap out the actual ship itself. You can have different sections of the ship, and you can remove them and replace them with different functional modules. So your ship can, around one frame, can do many things. This is based on a 50-ton ship, so it's not jump capable. In Traveler, you have to be at least 100 tons to mount a jump drive. So it is a spaceship, not a starship. And the modular concept in Traveler goes all the way up to massive warships, and it was big in Traveler the New Era for a lot of the Dawn League and then the RCES ships at the time were modular. It was just a better, safer way to build them. In combat, modular ships are not quite as sturdy simply because they're pieced together. So Ling Standard Products, is credited with the development of the 50-ton cutter. It was in 983 during the Third Frontier War. And why does any of that matter? Well, it's just interesting Traveler stuff. This goes into the modular methodologies and the idea behind it. So if I have a ship and I need a certain function, then I can go ahead and I can buy a module that will strap into this frame, and then I can use that module to complete my mission. So we're going to skip past a lot of this because this is the section that has the GURPS rules in it for the most part. And I'm not going to dwell on that because the GURPS rules are fairly alien, pun intended, to the Traveler rules, especially anything that isn't GURPS Traveler. But I do want to give one example, the Plankwell class battleship, a primary example of modular construction, a 200,000-ton combat vessel used during the Fifth Frontier War. So the idea of this only being a 50-ton workhorse ship to stay in one star system, oh no, it can definitely be a warship as well. And it can definitely be jump capable. And then we get some characters as we always did in GURPS. I always like that about GURPS. You can translate the GURPS stuff easy enough. It's not any real hard work. It's just that that's not the focus of this video. So we get a look at different equipment that comes into this, including flexible locks and hard clamps. And then we get some vehicles. And then the idea, the part of this book I really want to go to. I'm going to blow past a lot of this stuff. I just like to show the various pages just in case people aren't familiar with this book. This is still available through the Mark Miller Far Future Enterprises page. I'll put a link to that below. But here's where this book really comes into its own. We get deck plans. We get a ton of deck plans. And we get them by module type. So here we are. Here we are with a tech level 10, slightly different tech level in if you're using Mongoose Second. The tech levels tend to be a little lower in GURPS. 50-ton modular cutter. And these are, by the way, available in Mongoose Second, if that's the version you're playing. These go all the way back to Original Traveler. I chose this book because it's got a lot of nice deck plans. So here we are, 45-ton cutter, a 60-ton fast cutter. Just all kinds of different uses. Oh, there's the receipt I was talking about. This is from 3D House of Games. This was sold to me by Brian, who used to manage the store. I paid cash for it on March 16th, 2001. I have no idea why I keep the receipts, yet I do. And here we are. Now we have a 100-ton jump cutter. And now we have a modular pinnace. And all these nice deck plans. 500-ton medium modular ship with jump 1. And now we get a look at the modules. And these are all the different types of modules you can actually have in your modular cutter. And this is where it comes into storytelling. You, as the game master, can easily take a modular cutter, plunk the module down somewhere, have your travelers interact with the module in some way, and that can drive your story. For instance, if it's a commuter shuttle, it's just set up for people. If it's a bulk cargo, then it's just got cargo. Maybe a shuttle got lost or abandoned for whatever reason, and the module itself is sitting on the surface of a world, and you have to go out there in a jump-capable modular cutter and pick up the module and bring it back to whoever owns it. It can be a fuel skimmer module, a fighter pod, an expandable base. That's one I've used in the past, where I just had them aboard a ship as passengers. The expandable base was set down. They expanded the base. It was for an archaeological dig, well-funded one, and then they used that as their base. So right there, the modular cutter became very important because they had this nice, functional, safe base, but they had no means to leave the planet. I gave them an air raft and a couple of other subordinate vehicles, but nothing else that would take them really up and out of the planet in any meaningful way. So it's a lot of ways you can drive your story. As a fast courier, as a firefighting module, as a high-capacity berthing. Maybe there's a lot of people that are going to be in cold storage, and you're going to take them in cryoberths to their new location, and you've got this module for it. That plays a moment in Pitch Black, the very first Pitch Black with Vin Diesel, where they're essentially in a modular ship at the very beginning of it. High-capacity troop berthing, a laboratory. Laboratory is another one that just kind of writes itself. You've got that laboratory for the scientific expedition. You plunk the module down, we'll see in 6 months, and off goes the main ship. So a lot of ways for you to just go ahead and develop your story around this. I like the Marine Fire Base. I may be using that one soon. Medevac I have used as an area. The travelers were involved in a local fight and had to set up a medevac on commission for a group. That was a long, long time ago. And portable field shop. Prison transport, an interesting one. A recreation transport or module. Why not? Safari. You don't have a safari ship, you can just use a safari module. Scout survey base. That is pretty common. A lot of my scout survey bases on the more remote worlds, they'll just be modules set up to be bases. And all kinds of stuff. A tugboat cutter. And then you get weapon modules, where this ship can actually be a fighting ship. Not real successful because they tend to be a little more fragile than their purpose-built counterparts. But if you have to fight a local suppression of some kind, then why not? You can use it as a hive or embassy. That's pretty interesting. I like this book a lot because of the deck plans and because of the ideas. That's why I pull out my GURPS stuff. I keep these on the shelf at my fingertips for the most part, because GURPS was great for ideas. I think pretty much anybody that played any GURPS will agree with me. But there's a look at all the various modules that I was just talking about. Expandable base. I like that one a lot. The fast courier. The fighter pod. You can carry a fighter inside its own little modular pod. So if you have a modular ship that your travelers own or have parts of, you can certainly swap out modules and make your money that way, just delivering different modules from place to place. You don't have to be hauling just freight. You can haul freight in addition, but you could also be taking modules. But you have to be purpose-built ship to carry these modules. You can't just slap these in most cargo berths, although you can in some of the massive ones. And there are massive cargo modular ships that are jump capable. So just love this book for the deck plans. This is where I really liked all of the GURP stuff. Was they always came with nice deck plans. There actually is a GURPS deck plan for this set that I have, and I may show that if there's enough interest on a future video. Orbital insertion, a passenger, planetary infrastructure, portable field shop. So again, that could be one of two modules that are set down for your archaeological expedition. Maybe you need a portable field shop to build parts for what you're doing. Who knows? That's the story that you're driving. So this is a good way to put your traveler's money or ship shares into something a little less usual than just a far trader or getting a scout ship or something to start with. You could look at having them aboard a jump-capable modular ship. And as I said, the modules themselves and the various expeditions they take with the modules can drive the story. Very often, they might be dropping off the module, but staying to offer their expertise for whatever survey might be going on or something like that. You can do a theater or just a traveling stage that would open on one side to allow the actors to be out there performing. The ideas in this book are just so good. A troop transport, tugboat cutter, vehicle transport, and then a weapon bay, command station, an X-boat relay station, commercial station, communications station, hydroponics, engineering, you name it, you can do it with a modular cutter. So there we go, and then there's the index, and then we're out. I didn't dwell on this book for a very long time because the important thing about this book is the ideas it contains. You want to be able to keep your travelers engaged. This is a great way to give them a vessel, and the vessel itself can change the story as you change the story. So all you have to do is swap a module. They get a contract to carry a module for an archaeological expedition, as I've already said. Maybe they're going to drop off two. One is going to be for the expedition itself and the scientists involved with it, and another is going to be a medical support one because the world you're taking them to has some type of hazardous atmosphere or some indigenous dangerous animal life. So maybe you're dropping off two modules. Then your ship goes back into orbit, you take the shuttle down, and you give support. Your travelers give support as part of the team. A lot of different ways that you can drive the story using these. So this is from GURPS Traveler from 01. I will put a link to it. You can get it off Far Future Enterprises as part of their GURPS setup. I'll put a link to it in the description below. And that's all I've got today on page 121. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Please like the video if you liked it. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on page 121.